Everybody, by everybody I mean two little losers sitting here with their popcorn and drinks. Welcome. And I got a third one, Pedro. How expected. Hey Pedro. Alright. Redid my lighting and it sucks. So anyway, we'll just have to live with it because we've got things to do and lighting can wait. It's good enough. Good enough for now. Yep, I know you got a great big glare back on there. Okay. Where's the glasses gone? There we go. Artifacts. Next time I get a stencil done, I'm going to have them do it slightly bigger. So I've got more area for my magnets to grab onto. Actually, you know what? I'll do it this way. Still haven't used curry paste. My order of non-curry paste unfortunately hasn't arrived yet, so curry paste it is. Hey there, Swindon. Yeah, I really went all out yesterday and this isn't going to work. Yeah, I went all out yesterday to make sure I could get those shipped. Yep, looks like I've upset the curry paste. Oh well, not much left in it. Thank goodness. Hey James, even? Okay. Someone didn't clean their paste. I really should keep this somewhere, but yeah, just as use it for, what do you call it, reballing. It's probably better as a reballing paste than it is as a board assembly paste, that's for sure. Alright, let's see how we go. Oh, what the hell? Everything just... Yeah, we're gonna have to redo that. Everything just drifted off. That's not even remotely aligned. I don't know what I was thinking. No, 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 no. Don't take the bait. I've got to wipe that off. That's no good. Do it again. Otherwise, I'll just be reworking it anyway. have to clean the underside of that as well. Oh well. Hey Serge. Greg, you have the worst luck when it comes to shipments. You're like the world's most cursed shipment man. Okay, let's try that again. I must have just bumped it ever so slightly in the wrong way, and that was it. Well, no biggie. Hey Rhine Labs. Just need to sort of stop. Yeah, a couple of keying holes, but the trouble is, unless you do a... sorry, I'm just trying to find the right implement for what this is what I'm after. Unless you do a big batch, then you have to do that every single time, and they always seem to make it slightly different each time. Like if I try to use this stencil on the next batch of boards, it's not going to work. Just the alignments will be wrong. Okay, that's better. Much better. Crap ton of paste wastage, but like I said, I prefer to have a bit of paste wastage. I mean, realistically, if I try to get pedantic with saving paste, I'll probably actually have the paste expire before I use it all up. So there's no point. It's false economy for me to try and save it. Although agreeably, that much paste, it would make good reballing. Okay. That's ready for the next one. Okay, split the boards. It just feels a little wrong there. Okay, try that. As I said, moving the lighting around a bit. I suppose we get the parts. The hair's getting in my frickin' face. Be right back. Is it paste extruder for 3D? That's okay if you're sort of doing 603s, maybe 402s. Yeah, big stuff. But if you're doing 201, MSOP, stuff like that, it's just not practical. Okay, we're going to go backwards this time. We're going to start with our small things and go up. LED resistor. Our beloved 100 nanofarads. Ryan Labs, I've gone through the process before, and I decided I don't really want to take it that way. I mean, if I was going to do 500, then yeah, I'd get JLC or whatever to do it up for me. But I'm only doing sort of 4 at a time. It's also a considerably higher risk, if things go wrong. Even if they do have some sort of warranty, as it were, or a customer satisfaction kind of thing, there's still, I do 500, that's probably going to cost me, let's call it 5,000. Probably a little bit more than that, actually. $10,000. And if something goes wrong, then you're going to have to fight for your 10,000 bucks worth of gear. Whereas if I do it this way, I'm using up dead time in my day, and it still turns me a profit. I got the shakes, probably because I've been doing physical labor, just been redoing a ceiling, and that's involved hammering and sawing and lifting and extensive amounts of cursing. So it gets the old shakes running. Trying to think if that's everything. I'm sure I'll find out. Hey Craig Jedi, yep, got them, punched them all out yesterday, and now I'm just sort of restocking again. If I knew I was going to sell, a few hundred for sure, then and at least none of the parts here are, I could say that they're not specifically unique or special or anything like that, as opposed to, say, the ring lights. Ring lights, I wouldn't want to take a chance on that. Not that I'm doing the ring lights anymore. I do want to try a slightly different design for myself with them, with a little bit more clearance around the inner ring, and then gimbal them. And see if I can maybe put, I don't know, 10, 15 degrees tilt somewhere, variable tilt. Can end up being a load of crap and do nothing useful at all, but I'm just sort of curious to experiment. But in order to do the gimbaling, I am going to need to widen out the inner circle, the inner ring, because right now it's flush within about 2 or 3 millimeters of the Barlow, so it's definitely not enough room. Like, you put a 15-degree tilt on that, it's going to crash with the Barlow. No, you got stuck. Goddamn SOT 23s. Of all the parts, I wish I could find a 23.5 or SOT 23.5 would be nice as a replacement, or I could just go to the 1117s, but I've got a few hundred of these ones, so I guess I'm going to have to use them. Yeah, Graham from Adamant IT, the one without the goatee, yeah, he's had that meter for a while. It's good to see him using it. It actually has taken me quite a while to get people to understand why this meter is different to, you know, your run-of-the-mill ones. Yeah, because everybody was saying, well, you know, why don't we just pay $50 and get a really comprehensive featured one from AliExpress? And I mean, you can, but they are different. I mean, this whole design basically came out of the fact that I had some AliExpress ones. Damn it, knew that would happen. And I found them extremely annoying after a while. One thing that kept happening was they kept breaking, or they'd fall apart, things like that. Yeah, even though they were either glued or screwed or whatever, the damn things just kept breaking. And then, of course, I didn't have a what do you call it? A data link. I do see though that a lot of them do have data links now, but the trouble with their data links is that they're usually Bluetooth or maybe Wi-Fi, and that's a major pain in the ass. Bluetooth in particular is just a nightmare. Like, if you've ever been, God damn it, if you've ever had to develop a Bluetooth device, you will know how much of a pain it is. Just trying to write the client software for it is an absolute nightmare. Ultimately, you end up usually just going to one of the fallback modes, which everybody else uses, and yeah, it's never as... I've only got 4 of the cereal chips. It's okay, I've got more. Oh, come on. Thank you. That took way too long. We need one more of the CH340E. Is there only 7 on there? No, it's 8. Nope. Come on. Flip. Gee whiz. Mobile Centrics over here is pushing Gorilla 6558 microscope for only 800 Canadian. Comes with infrared camera, infrared curing. Oh, I think I've seen that one. Yeah, combo everything. I'm not a fan of the combos because if something goes wrong with one part, I don't know. I guess for some people it's a all-in-one stop shop. Not really how I prefer to go. But yeah, I have seen that one. Some of them even got like integrated extractor, which is kind of funny because those extractors really are more blenders, as in they just blend filthy air with clean air and recirculate it around you. They're not actually filter extractors. So you have all these people breathing heavily, thinking that they're breathing fresh, clean air, but really it's not at all. I bet these are going to go into the oven today. Kind of getting sick to death of how badly the hot plate works. I mean, it works, but not so crash hot, particularly with this paste. The other paste was more tolerant of reflow through the hot plate. With these are definitely not tolerant. This paste is... nah. The problem this paste has is that it burns off its flux way too quickly. Yeah, I think everything's there. So we'll bring in the oven. Just going to try something. Hopefully it won't be a disaster, but we're just going to try something. Naturally, whenever you say, I'm just going to try something, it turns into a disaster. It's just the nature of life. Let's see. Disaster. What a mess. Wow, it is really shonky quality. What is this, potato camera? Apparently that's 1920 1080. Frame rate's wrong. Definite potato camera now. Weird. I should be able to... Oh, damn, the color. No, wait. Video format's right. Motion JPEG now. Nope. Try that. Frame rate 60. I have to use MJPEG. Wow. So this is a USB camera, and that is some serious potato quality. That's hideous. So take us back to the year 2005. We'll stick with the above. Just need to move these to a safe place so that I can transfer them then into the oven. So load it onto the oven tray. Yeah, let's bring the oven up. Super wide. More like a moldy, unbrushed brown potato that's looking for earth. It's gone all cray-cray. So you're not going to see much of this, I'm afraid. But basically, this is the controller box. I need to find a better place for this, like a permanent place for it, or semi-permanent. What's going on here? Right. Well, Jesus. Extractor on. So this you see. So what it's going to do is it's going to bring it up to 120. That's the requested temperature. This is the current temperature. Obviously the time. That's the heater elements are on. And P means it's on leaded reflow, and it's on phase 1. Yeah, I got this oven maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It's only like it's a cheap Sunbeam. I think it's what are these, one of the 20 litre, 10 litre ones. And I've even got glass wool, high temperature insulation stuff on the bottom, and then I've got it over the top here. You know, basically trying to keep the heat in there as much as possible. And it does a decent job. So where are we at? 75, 78. It's a 4-element unit. So we've got 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. My code is not really that crash hot. There's a fair degree of overshoot with the temperatures, but look, realistically, you know, people are going to say, oh, you should get a PID algorithm, and I mean, I do have a sort of PID in there, but it's for the most part, you just sort of you check what your temperature delta is per second, and you estimate, well, you look at your time, and you sort of try and sort of go, okay, well, our delta's whatever it is. You cut off the power and hopefully coast up to the temperature you want. Sometimes you overshoot, sometimes you undershoot. It's not that critical. And so it sits at this bake off for around about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, and then it starts ramping. See, the trouble with this flux, it's already starting to gas up. I can smell it, and it shouldn't be. It's like really quick to smoke up. Okay, we're in the preheat phase now, so let's see. It's like with preheat. Let's see if we can show. You'll see the desired temperature is going up on a ramp, and this is it trying to catch up. It's got the element on, but there's a certain degree of latency between putting the heater, the power in, but it will catch up and it will overshoot. This is cheap, nasty, mechanic crap paste, curry paste, basically. It's the flux is the problem. Yeah, as you see, it's switched off the element, but the temperature's still rising, and it's going to overshoot a bit. If you really want to stop this from overshooting too much, you'd have to put a fan in there to have an air bleed, like blow in some cool air. Or have heating elements that have no real thermal inertia in them, or thermal momentum. Yeah, basically they have no thermal capacity. They're just like either on or off. So we're in the first ramp phase now. I'm going to head out for about 3 minutes while this goes through the worst bit, because I don't want to be in here sucking up the extractor's good, but it's still not good enough. Hey Siri, set timer for 2 minutes. Bear still in your room or something?
Yeah, it's on my bed.
He's getting a preen from Daisy on the bed. And I see Micro's in the chair.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, open door. Oh, it actually not. That's not good. Oh, no wonder the windows are. I'll be back in 30. Forgot to open the window in my workshop when I did the cooking. And, I mean, I've got a filter and everything, but it's the thingamajig just needs to be outside or like in a little window box, and I can go close it. Pollute the outside instead. Wow. Just pumping fresh air into here. Yeah. Gnarly. Yuck. Alright. There it is. Didn't I just mention about the PID controller like 5 minutes ago? Yeah, there's no need for a PID controller on this sort of thing. It's not going to do anything for me, really. Because the problem is that the oven itself doesn't have a way to cool it down, and the elements are far too slow in response. So all that your PID controller is going to do is freak out because it's not going to be able to make the oven comply sufficiently quick. Well, it's just not going to be able to make the oven comply. So this is a working solution as it is. It already is a kind of a PID controller in itself. I mean, the software in it already does compensate. It's just not as tight and perfect as what you would want from, say, if you're doing large-scale commercial production. I'll tell you what though, it's a hell of a lot better than that piece of crap that I got from Vivor. Yeah, I just need to have this thing sitting on the outside window or whatever. Anyway, enough of my localized ranting. Gabriel, there's really no point. Really, seriously, it's a waste of time and money. It really, really is. Like I said, it already does differential response, and I've already adjusted the parameters, but there are limits on how you can make. It's kind of like if you've got a car and it accelerates pretty well, you can control that aspect of it. But if you've got brakes that basically are not much better than Flintstone brakes, then you've got a conflict between, you need to be able to get up to a certain speed, but then there are going to be there's a limit on how quickly you can brake. And unfortunately, if you're trying to travel a distance, you're not going to be able to make that distance in time if you need to, with your braking, no matter how you try and set up the equation. So what I'm trying to say is that that particular mechanical configuration does not give the ability for a PID controller to be able to make it comply with what it wants to do. It just doesn't have it in it. You need to have an external fan unit to bring in cold air to compensate, or you have to have different heating elements in there. Basically, that's what I'm saying. The physical limitations of the oven itself inhibit you from being able to have a PID controller constrain it the way you want. It just doesn't work. And the reason I know this is because I've done it before. Anyway, here's our reflow. And as you can see, it's looking pretty bloody good. That's pretty damn good, you gotta say. Ach, yeah. What's going on here? Okay. Now what I do need is a better camera. Repowering. Should come up any... There we go. Okay, so is... Considering the flux in that paste is gnarly, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm actually kind of surprised there is paste down through the vias. That's weird. Yeah, that one's good. Oh, that didn't get pulled across, but that's okay. Those pads are intentionally wide. I tend to use wide pads, broad feeting like that, because sometimes in the past with tiny chips, we would sometimes end up with narrow body ones like this, and then you'd end up with broad body ones. So you just basically use the broad body footprint and live with it. But really, you got to admit, that's not too bad. Paul Tate, I don't really use the ultrasonic cleaner anymore, but if I do, it's 55 Celsius, 5 minutes aside, and then rinse in just deionized or distilled water. No alcohol. Just rinse in the fresh water. Blow it clean with, blow all the excess water off with the air compressor, and then bake at 120 for 20 minutes. Anyway, basically the profile I have built into that particular oven controller, it works well enough. Like, there's a little bit of overshoot on the ramp, the initial ramping, but when it comes to the actual reflow peak process, it's fine with that. The only thing I have to do is to make sure I get back and open up the door reasonably quickly, so that it can then quickly drop down in temperature. But really, that's it. It's only on the initial ramp phases that it overshoots a little bit. It's a little bit soft on the curve, but when it comes to the peak reflow, it's fine. Alrighty, let's get these thing programmed. It's nice not having any rework on those. Make sure I actually do this right. There we go. very high tech programming tool. Okay, it's done. Let's get some displays. By the way, with these, if you do get, if you have ordered one, there is a protective film on the display, so you just peel that off if you want when you get it. Because you might notice that there might be a little bit of marring or blemishing on the display. It's on the film that's on top, and that film can be very hard to notice. Here's a question for people in the know. Why do LED legs have square legs rather than round legs like resistors and caps? Okay, tape time. What's the bit resolution on the controller? Wait, you're talking about my oven controller? Oh, it's only 8-bit. Was it 10? Can't remember. I can't actually remember which controller I have in there anymore. Or if you're referring to these meters, then it's a 16-bit on them. Yeah, I really can't even remember what controller I've got in that oven thing. I'm using a PT1000 sensor on it. Vastly prefer using PT sensors rather than bimetallic thermocouples. I mean, they're a lot more expensive than a bimetallic thermocouple, but I'm fine with that because it's a once-off cost. Oh, these don't even need washing. It's cool. I don't shrink wrap them no more, no. Shrink wrapping was perhaps one of the most annoying parts of the process. And it would be inconsistent results. I'd get random bits of random stuff stuck under the heat shrink. It just drove me mad. And I was like, if people want these meters, then they can either shrink wrap the thing themselves, or have no shrink wrap. Yeah, the meters use a 16-bit ADC on them. Let's step out a little bit there. with the meters, I also do try to get a fairly large spread of the values across the 16-bit within the range of what we should be expecting, so like up to 5 amps. So I've tried to choose the particular sensor and the mode of the chip so that we get a fairly good use of the 16 bits. Okay, that's basically done. Have you thought of printing a case? There are 3D models for the units already. I'm fairly sure I got one of them linked on the site, haven't I? Yeah, I'm fairly sure that I've already linked one of them, or two. Okay. Testing. I don't know, I mean, I can't remember, to be honest, Craig. Okay, so that's good. Tell you what I want to print is a test jig. Something that already has these cables set up, and so I can just sort of like drop it in. Getting curious why it's not hitting 20 volts. I think it's just because the battery on there is charged already. I'm just going to get a MacBook. Hey, Mimi. It's all good. Meters are useful. Why not make a battery analyzer device of your own? I have in the past made them. I used to sell them when I was doing model aircraft stuff for lithium packs. But, nah. There are tools that are fun to make. There are tools that can be useful to make, but it's not something that I would be using every day. And I prefer to stick with, at the moment at least, for making tools that I'm going to use every single day, multiple times a day. And the USB-C meter is one of those kind of tools. So there's other people out there making battery analyzers, so I'll leave that to them. Okay, so these are all working. Yeah, for me, a battery analyzer is something I might use maybe once or twice a month, whereas this thing I use once or twice an hour. Okay. Have you never encountered a locked battery? I have, and I've been annoyed by it, but for the most part, I just find it easier, just get another battery. Because if it's been locked out because it's undervolted, it's been sitting there on the shelf for too long, then even if I say resuscitate that, then it's probably going to have a shorter life anyway, and then the customer's going to get angry at me and things like that. So for me, it's just easier, cheaper, safer in terms of customer happiness to just replace the battery. I mean, ultimately, you've got to make business decisions on these things. So, okay, do you get enough machines in on a regular basis with things, needing battery analyzer, in which case, fine. It suits your business situation. For me, it doesn't, so I don't bother. Hey, Mark. Whoops. I forgot an important step. Because these screens have been sitting for a little while, there's a little bit of dust on them, so just give them a little bit of a wipe with IPA and all is good. And notice that is actually just wiping the plastic cover on it, but it's also this black section up here that tends to sort of be ever so slightly sticky, like kind of an epoxy sort of sticky, and it has a bit of an attraction for dust, so just wiping it down, that's all good. It's not degrading, it's not like it's butyric plastic or whatever it is. That stuff is horrible. Hey Paul, how? Yes, I'm almost done with it, I'm afraid, good sir. Yeah, Greg, like I said, it depends on the business. If your business is involved with doing a lot of batteries and maybe you can save a few, then fine. I'm not going to say people shouldn't do that, but for me, it just isn't worth it. I've looked at the battery analyzers that are out there. It'd be cheaper for me to just simply buy theirs and pay their licenses, but I can't justify it, not even close. Alright. Well, that's it. That's another 4 units done. So I'll go add them to the PayPal page. That leaves probably about 16 more for me to do, and then I've got to make a decision. When I've used up all the parts, and I've used up the next 16, do I run another batch or don't I? I don't know. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. At the moment, these are selling out basically as soon as I put them up, or within 24 hours of putting them up. I'll see how I feel. Alright then, I'm out of here. You all take care. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. I'll catch you later.